Hey guys, it's Kelly the Embroidery Nurse. Welcome back to my channel. As promised, I have been contemplating whether I am going to reopen my Etsy shop. And so I wanted to kind of go over with myself, and then I figured I'd share them with you as I do it, the pros and cons to selling on Etsy. I mean, it really has been, something that I have been involved with since 2018. That's when I remember sitting on the, sidelines of a baseball practice and just literally going through all the product pictures that I make, uploading them, adding them, creating new listings, and finally just saying, what the heck, I'm going to open my shop. And I'm so glad I did. And I've learned a lot along the ways, all the ways along the way. Some good and some bad, right? I mean, like with anything. So I kind of wanted to go over the pros and cons because every summer I work as a nurse in a summer camp. And so I actually, moved there for the summer with my kids. And I generally, the past 2 years, have closed my Etsy shop down. And this year I never opened it back up. When I say I closed it down, I put it on vacation mode. And, I was just kind of weighing the options of whether I wanted to reopen. And so it's now October 1st. Whoa. And I closed it in May. So I've really kind of been thinking, maybe I should open it back up. But this time I want to open it back up with more control on my end, instead of just putting 300 listings out there, because I thought that would make me more seen. I'm going to only put the listings that are profitable, the ones that I enjoy making, the ones that are maybe a little different from another shop, because I think that's important if I do open back up. So let's get into it, right? It's funny, I looked back through some videos that I have made, and I had one in March of 2020, and gosh, that was a crazy time, huh? And it was 10 tips for selling on Etsy. And so I'm going to go over those with you too and see if they're still relevant 4 years later on Etsy. See if those kind of stood the test of time or if some of those have changed. So we'll go over those. But I figured we'd talk about the pros and cons first, because that's, what I'm here for. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So some pros. So Etsy, from the time that I started in 2018 till now, has just literally blown up in the growing number of customers that it has. They report at this time over 100 million active customers. I don't know what means active versus maybe, I don't know that you've, I need to look that up. What determines an active customer? I'm going to put it right here if I figure it out. If you don't see anything up here, I didn't figure it out. But it literally says the word active. So I don't know if that means somebody has, purchased or, been on the site in the past, certain number of months or whatnot. I'm not sure. But 100 million, you guys, that's crazy. That's a huge reach. So that, of course, is probably one of the biggest pros, the reach that you can get your stuff out there. This is a platform that is well established. When people think of handmade items, which when I put my embroidery machines onto an item, that turns it into a handmade item. The reach is insane. I can be in my small town working in the basement, working on these items, and I can reach 100 million active users by posting my things to Etsy. I mean, it couldn't be a bigger pro than that, for sure. So it's very established. There's already an audience that is looking for your things. People literally come to Etsy and they'll use the search engine itself to, look for a gift. So that's why, like the keywords and the SEO that people always talk about are so important, because people do use it as a search engine, which is crazy. I'm sure the Etsy founders are, just over the moon, excited about how that has grown, over the years. Let's see. So should we do a pro and then a con? Is that how we should work this? I think so. So Etsy is definitely a love-hate relationship for most people that sell on it. There are some good days and some there are bad days. When I look at my analytics, which is a really cool thing that they do share with you, my sales would literally be like this. It was such a roller coaster, ups and downs, good days, bad days, and that's kind of where the love-hate relationship forms. So I will say one of the cons for selling on Etsy is, we talked about that there is, 100 million active users. Well, the number of sellers is pretty crazy too. So that has increased, just tenfold. And, there was a huge shift during COVID when people were at home purchasing everything online. The numbers of sellers skyrocketed, and a lot of them are not, a lot, that's not maybe the right word. There was a large handful of people that started selling that I kind of felt like brought Etsy down a bit. They were using the platform for things that weren't necessarily handmade or mass production of things, and or just a quick sale to try to make money while they were stuck at home. And I feel like that kind of brought it down, although it certainly brought the number of sellers up. I have this number that I wrote down, and I'm not really sure. I have 4.4. Do we think that's million? 4.4 million sellers in 2020, and 2 years later it had gone up over 3 million. Do we think millions are right? I'm going to erase this out of this if that's wrong. I don't even know what I wrote in my notes, guys. But the point is, there are a lot of sellers. So that, you're competing against a lot of folks, so you can't just, willy-nilly throw your items up there. You have to really think about it, think about the competition, think about the folks that are selling the same, items as you. How can you stand out? So it definitely, that con is just there because you are up against a lot of other competitors. And in our world of embroidery, there are a lot of folks, which is awesome, that do what we do, but we do need to find ways that we can stand out, whether that be you pick a niche that's different from other folks, or maybe that's very specific to something that you love, or that you do amazing, product photos and you stand out in that way. So, it's a con. The pro that kind of outweighs it is how many people are out there that are purchasing. So our next pro is Etsy marketing. So what I mean by that is there's actually two parts to that I think are a pro. One is Etsy themselves is doing a lot more marketing, and you've probably even seen, like during the Super Bowl, an Etsy commercial.
Oh, crap. That's a really good gift.
Now we gotta get France something.
Wait, we could use Etsy's new gift mode.
Yes. What are the French like? Anyone?
Cheese. They like cheese.
Brilliant. Done.
Plateau de fromage! Ooh la la!
Don't panic. Gift easy with gift mode. New on Etsy.
I mean, how cool is that? Like the largest audience, known to man, and they are investing and paying for those, paid advertisements for the platform that you can upload your items to and sell. So that it's great to see that they are, taking some of the money that they're earning from us and investing it back to making the platform even more recognizable and just a place that, everybody can find your items at. So that's one part of the marketing. The other part of the pro for marketing is the fact that they have built in advertising that you can participate in if you would like for your own shop. And so what's great about that is, they kind of take the guesswork out of it. You decide, how you want to advertise, how much money you want to invest in advertising to getting your items out there. So it's great that that's already there. You don't have to think through that process. They've really done it for you. You could choose whether you want to participate or not in that. So that's pretty cool. So the pro for marketing is both that they are investing in Etsy and marketing the platform, and that you can choose to invest more in your own business and add, advertisements and ads for your products as well. Okay. So a second con to go over, which we just already kind of hit on, is that it's an increase of mass-produced products. So it used to be, that you would see just literally folks like you and I who are, working at home, kids are at school, we're, making appliques and such like that. Now you'll see, like a full-fledged business that's pumping out, with employees and wholesalers and things like that are on the platform. Now, I will say Etsy has been cracking down a lot more on this lately, and I do think they're getting a better control over it. Now, it's not to say that if you have employees that you can't sell on Etsy. I mean, that's not what I'm saying, but it has changed the dynamics a bit of it. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, if you were making homemade wreaths and you just kind of took off with your business, and now you can hire people to help work with you, that's awesome. I am not negating that at all, but it has changed the platform a bit, that we have larger businesses, and hopefully they are controlling the mass produced items that might not necessarily be handmade. So a slight con, but I do feel like they're working behind the scenes more than we even know on that. Okay. A pro. So, a pro to selling on Etsy is that the world of technology has made things a little bit easier, especially from, even when I first started selling. You can now purchase, which these have been around, but you can purchase mock-ups for the items that you're using. People actually sell mock-ups that you can use. You don't have to do that yourself. When I mean a mock-up, I would mean like a background that you could use to put your product, then overlaid on. You still want it to be your product, but there are things like that. There's also AI writing tools. So if something that held you back before was like your descriptions or how to word your return policy or your about section or things like that, you now have AI at your fingertips to help you with those writing tools. So if some of those things were what were holding you back, just know there's things out there that can help you. Fiverr, I don't know if I say this right, but here's the company. They are amazing. I have used them in the past, when I've been at different stages of my business, where they can help you, they can help you upload your items. They could help you transfer your things from Shopify to Etsy or whatnot. There are people out there that are willing to do smaller task items for you. They could help you with SEO. You type in what you're looking for, and there is someone that is a business entrepreneurial type person out there that is waiting on you to select them, to help you. So check it out. It really is a neat way, a time-saving way. If it's something that, is holding you back from starting on Etsy, then look at the options. Type in Etsy in the search engine, the search engine on Fiverr, and see all the different things that people are willing to help you with. So that's pretty cool. Also, Canva, I couldn't live without Canva. I was at a meeting the other day for an organization that I'm on the board of, and someone was talking about making a graphic, and I was like, Canva, and they had never heard of it. Like, I use it all the time, and it's probably because I have a business where I am putting stuff on social media. But I do it for anything, for a PTO meeting graphic, for a food drive, for anything. I'm using Canva for. Like, I couldn't really probably live without it. And you don't have to do the paid version. You can do the free version, and there's so much out there. I did end up reinvesting, and I do the paid version now just because I feel like they started locking so many of the cool graphics to those that paid, which I get it. They can. So Canva is awesome, but a great tool to help you on Etsy with your social media, with your your thumbnails, your everything. So just know that there's so many tools out there that things are even easier to help you succeed. Okay, what is a con? All right, y'all, change is inevitable in life, right? The sooner you learn that in business, the more successful you will be. I'm not a fan of change, so that's a hard one for me. I'm not a plan B kind of person. I don't even sometimes make plan Bs because I don't like them. I like my plan A, and I like to stick to it. But Etsy, as well as every platform out there, is constantly changing. So that is definitely a con to some, because once you feel like you've learned all the tools, all the tricks, the algorithms, the SEO, all the things to help you, you might log on and something, has changed drastically. I used to, invest heavily in ads through Etsy. And at some point they changed something in the background about ads, and all of a sudden, sales slowed down. My ads were not being clicked on. It was an obvious change, one that we couldn't really explain behind the scenes, but we knew something big had changed. Things change in the algorithms all the time. So you might have had this best-selling product, and then, 2 weeks later, no one's even viewing it. So that's hard because you don't have control over the changes they make. You don't get heads up when sometimes when changes are being made in the background. They're doing it for the greater good of the platform, but it might affect you and your business. So you just have to be aware of that. So to me, that's always been a con, just because I'm a plan A kind of person. There, I said it. Okay, a pro. There are so many Etsy courses out there, and what's amazing is how much information Etsy shares with you on how to sell, how to succeed on their platform, and that I feel like people don't take advantage of. There is a ton of information out there. There are videos, there are courses. There is so much out there right now to help you succeed, but it is time. It's an investment. Some of these things you do have to pay for. So you need to figure out what is worth it to you to invest in your business. I feel like I've always thought what is that quote? I'm going to say it wrong because I always say quotes wrong, but you have to spend money to make money. So investing in yourself, investing in your business, say you take a course, it is something that you hopefully you benefit with in the long run. But I just think it's a pro that there is so much information out there, so much help. At some point, y'all let me know in the comments if you would like. I can restart doing one-on-one video, like FaceTimes or Zooms. I think I was doing it on Zoom. If you would like to have a one-on-one just to talk about your shop or anything embroidery, I would love to do that again if it's something that you think would be helpful. So let me know in the comments, because that could be another way that you could maybe get some questions answered, especially in the beginning when you're building your own business. Let's see, a con. Well, this was going to be on there, right? Fees. That's what really holds most folks back, is the fees. But when you compare, so it's a con that you can really turn into a pro, but ultimately a con because it's taken what you feel like is your money away from you. So there are a lot of different fees. Here's I found this on Etsy. Look at the different fees, and they try to explain to you, exactly how they are or what they are. Here, look at here. That's money. That's money that you had to factor in. And if you don't factor it into your prices, then you aren't making any money. And that's when it hurts, when you see people that are selling things that you yourself make, and you're like, they aren't making a dime. There's no way you can tell me they're making a dime when you see what some people are charging. They might do free shipping and then, bring the cost way down because they feel like the more they sell. No, y'all, there are so many fees that I think they're forgetting to even factor in, that there ain't no way. And it brings everybody's products down when, we have liked item, the same items. And one is like crazy low and whatnot. So, there are listing fees. It costs 20 cents for every listing that you add. When that item is purchased, it's 20 more cents to relist it. And then I think it's like after 3 months, it's 20 cents to renew it if it's still there. So 20 cents that you can literally pay every single time. So if you have an item and you sell, 10 of them, each time it sells and has to be relisted, it's what did I say, 20 cents. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up, right? There's the transaction fee, and that fee has changed over time. So now it's 6.5% of your sale. So, you definitely need to add that in when you factor in your pricing. You definitely, because that really adds up. So then there is shipping fees. There was a time where I was doing free shipping because I definitely felt like that was, people were clicking on mine because, my listings because it said free shipping, but there is no such thing as free shipping, y'all. You might not have your customer pay for it, but you are. So unless you really increase your price to cover that, and shipping has gotten more and more expensive. And then around the holidays, I feel like I just saw something that was, submitted about the fee for something goes up from October to, the end of the year. So you've got to include shipping. Just come on, you got to. There's payment processing fees. There's deposit fees. There is off-site ads. So, the con was that Etsy is doing a good job of marketing. The negative, or did I say the pro? The pro is that Etsy is doing marketing for us and for our businesses. But the con is that you have to pay for those off-site ads. And if you made, I had to write this down, so I'll say the right thing. If you made less than $10,000 on Etsy in the past 365 days, you're charged a 15% fee on the order total when it's brought in from someone clicking on an offsite ad. So this would be an ad that is not found on Etsy. It's not, a preferred listing, anything like that. It's something where they have Etsy has put this information out there on, Google or, wherever they put their advertisement. And if someone clicks on that off of Etsy and then purchases your item, there is a 15% fee on the order total that goes to you. And if you don't incorporate things like that, now everything that comes through is not going to be, from an offsite ad. So you pay attention to that, see if things are where they're coming from, because you can actually see when you click on your analytics, what's drawing people to you. Is it offsite ads? Is it, social media? And then it can even break down what social media is bringing it. Is it your Pinterest? Is your Instagram? Is it your Facebook? Whatever. So you want to really look at those analytics, because if you were getting a 15% fee on your total order and you weren't incorporating that or knowing that was happening, then you're losing in the end with that. It does say if you make greater than $10,000 in a 365-day period, then you get a 12% discounted fee. A discounted fee of 12%. That makes more sense. So 15% if you make less than 10,000, and 12% if you make greater than 10,000. So that one's kind of like, it's a pro that they're doing it, but a con that they're taking it back from you, Okay. Another pro. Let's go back to pros. Easy to set up. That probably should have been the first thing I said. It is so easy to set up. Like I mentioned when I started this video, I literally remember sitting on the baseball sidelines at a practice and I was uploading. And I remember thinking, I bet these moms think that I'm just playing around on social media. They don't know that I am starting my business. I don't know. I've always thought that was funny. And little do they know, I am over here doing my business, working it, girl. I figured they were judging me for not watching practice and instead playing on social media. Anyway, I don't know why I remember that. That was literally 2018. But that's funny. But that just again proves that it is easy to set up. So y'all, don't wait until everything's perfect. There's all these things of, your shop should have this, 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 and this, and this. Well, if you wait until all of those things are done and completed and perfect, you've missed out on months of opportunities of just going ahead and starting your shop. So, throw it out there, because honestly, you'll learn as your shop is open whether, there's certain things that you should spend more time on. Maybe there were items that you thought were going to be amazing sellers that, no one even views. Or an item that you had no clue that was going to be popular is where you want to, maybe invest a little bit more in. So until you kind of throw things up there and take a chance, you won't know that. All right, what's next? Okay, a con. Trying to read what I wrote. Unexplained suspensions and removed listings. So this is happening big time. It's bad. And you get completely not explained. You might get one line of why they said they did it, but there is no recourse. Half the time they are not going to listen to your appeals. It is so rare that someone is able to fight back and get their shop reopened if it has been closed. They say that they send you, notices, but I have definitely heard from folks where they had no clue, or, maybe something was sent and they overlooked it thinking it was spam. And then in the end, done. Removed listings. I've had a lot of people lately talk about pajamas. I don't sell them anymore when it comes to, on Etsy. I do like in my own private group, but a lot of people are having trouble with that listing, with that word. That word is signaling something to Etsy and making them remove it. It's for compliance reasons, but even the people that are compliant and have all of the testing and everything done, it doesn't matter. Etsy doesn't care. They don't have. Not that they don't have the ability, but they don't take the time to, look at each individual shop. They just see the word pajama in a listing and they're like, gone. So they might not shut your whole shop down, but they can remove listings. And for some, that was one of their biggest sellers. And so that's hard. So that's hard because you don't own your Etsy shop. You own your shop, but not on Etsy. Does that make sense? So it's kind of scary. You don't want, when they say you don't want to throw all your eggs in one basket, you don't want this to be your only outlet for selling, because if it is, taken from you, it could be it is devastating to folks when that happens, if that happens. You want to back up all your stuff so that if something like that was to happen, you could, sell on a different platform, if you had the heart to do that. So, just know it's not yours. They can make changes that you might not agree with. They can close things, remove things, and it is next to impossible to reach someone at Etsy in regards to something. So, just know that that's definitely a con. I'm glad they're policing things and looking out for things, but some folks I've heard from, it just didn't really seem warranted at all, and it can be truly devastating. Okay, let's see. Another con. I think I only have this is the last con. Pro. I'm on pro. Pro con. We're playing tennis. All right, pro. Profitable. I don't know why I wrote that, so let's think about it. I know. So the cost. Yes, we talked about fees, but it costs less for me with those fees, because I've done the comparison, than building my own website. Y'all, I built my own website. It was beautiful. I had paid someone to help me build my own website. I thought it was stellar. But just because I published it and went live, I tried to drive traffic to it. It was like a wah, wah, wah. Probably one of the most disappointing things of my business ventures was my inability to drive traffic to my website, and the continued fees, what I paid for someone to help develop it, the fees for trying to keep it running. I finally was like, nah, a loss is a loss, and I needed to know that and recognize that and just kind of move on from it. But I had a Shopify site, and I also had a site that I had built on WooCommerce. So I had two different, sites, and just because you go live, there's so much more you have to do after that to really drive traffic to you. So the fees for me that I pay for Etsy, were minimal compared to what I was paying to try to, make a website of my own successful. I do still think it's a great option for folks. And, we talk about not putting all your eggs in one basket. So it really is a good thing to have your own website or another platform that you sell on. But just know that Etsy makes it so easy on their end, and doing it on another platform, or your own website, you do have to invest in that time and money for sure. So I guess my pro was that the money that is spent, that I have to spend on the back end for Etsy, is more profitable in my opinion than on other, taking my products to another platform. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Sometimes that don't make sense even to my own self. So a con, kind of speaking to that, when you have your own website, you can really, have brand awareness. People, will know that you are the embroidery nurse, and that is your business. And that is, when they're coming to your website, they know that they're going to see and what to expect. But when you are only on Etsy, you really don't have much brand awareness at all. Now, you can certainly include cute packaging and cute cards and things like that in your, when you mail something out. But when someone, purchases, an applique shirt from you, and they're out at, Johnny's birthday party, and they're like, oh my gosh, where did you get that amazing shirt? That's so cute. They're going to say, I got it on Etsy. They're not going to say, I got it from Embroidery Nurse on Etsy. They're just going to say, I got it on Etsy, guaranteed. I would have people, that would come back year after year. So that was cool. They obviously went back and looked, oh, I did get this from such and such, from Embroidery Nurse. Let me see if she's still on Etsy. So I definitely had repeat customers for sure. And I loved when I would see that. And it would notify you on a sale that it was a repeat customer. So I always made sure that I thanked them for coming back and wrote that on their, piece of paper that I put in their package. But just, you lose some of your brand awareness when you're on a platform that sells, in the masses. So con, but something you can keep working on. I also had, as a con, I just wrote SEO, boo. Just because it's hard for me. If you're an SEO awesome person, then it could be a pro for you, because that might be how you do so well. But understanding SEO and taking the time to do SEO, search engine optimization is what that stands for. If you're not familiar, then to me it's a boo. So my little notes, my pros and cons. I hope that helps you think about Etsy. I do think I am going to reopen in the next week or so. I'm going to work kind of on the back end and take out, y'all, probably 3/4 of my listings, and only include the things that I really want to work on right now, and just really limit it, and hopefully kind of just grow slowly from there. People talk about, oh my gosh, you can't go on vacation mode, it's really going to hurt. It hasn't hurt when I've done it in the past. I was nervous. I was so nervous. The first year I worked at camp, I did not go on vacation mode. I extended my processing times out. But then I would get all these messages, and, I couldn't respond right away because I was not, with in a great Wi-Fi area. And I decided to take all of that off my plate when I go out of town. Just put it on vacation mode, and then I can, be fully invested in it when I return. But this year, let's see, we've got June, July, August, September, a good 4.5 months that I have been on vacation mode. And So look out for it soon. I think I will be opening up, and I'll kind of walk you through whether that has been a good idea or not. We'll see, and maybe I can report back at the end of the year and let you know how that transition back on has been and what's new. So I am going to link below a video, like I had mentioned, that I made in March of 2020, and it was my 10 tips for selling on Etsy. And I'm just going to go through them real quick, and we're going to see if these things are even still relevant. And if so, watch the video and see if it might help you. So my 10 tips for selling on Etsy back in 2020 were that you needed to have amazing pictures. That is still 100% relevant. 100% how you sell on Etsy is by eyesight. What are they seeing when they click on your things? Does it look amazing? If so, they're likely to buy it. So amazing pictures is still definite. Accessible charts. You might have to watch the video so you can see it, but I include as part of my pictures size charts, color charts, thread color charts, fonts, and so that's still a great tip. It's definitely 100% you should be doing that. Include those things in your listings so that people can see everything they need to make that purchase. Another tip was Etsy is your employer, so listen to what they're saying. There's so much information in the Etsy archives of how to be successful. So that's still a great tip. You want to learn what is important to them so that you can be successful. Etsy ads, I will say that is not as relevant to me as it used to be. I do not invest in Etsy ads like I used to. That over time ended up not being as successful for me. But I need to, work on that again and see, where that stands in present time. But I would say that's not the biggest tip anymore. Y'all, I used to do free shipping. That's definitely not a tip anymore because, like I already said, shipping, I don't care how many times or how many ways you say it, shipping is never free. So either you're increasing your listing items, fees, or it just, no, that's a no. That's not a tip anymore. Respond immediately, 100% is a great tip. But set some guidelines. You can do automated responses to let them know that you respond between 9 and 4 or whatnot. But you do want to respond. Generally, that's like equals a sale. Like if someone asks you a question, they're wanting to purchase probably right then. They don't want to wait 24 hours to hear back from you to decide if you answer their question right. If you see a question pop up, go ahead and answer as quick as you can. If you're available, I mean, I'm not saying, step off of the wedding line to do it, but the quicker you answer, the quicker you will normally hear that cha-ching and it will be a sale. So that's still a definitely tip. This one is definitely tip to be honest. When you have any errors or delays, just be honest. If they know you're, just regular person that's working hard for them, then they are willing to be more forgiving and realize that you're not some big box, store that's doing things. So that's definitely still a great tip. Just be honest with your customers. I had coupon codes as a tip. I still, would recommend that. So I still think that's a plus. Coupon codes, I would have them pre-made. So if someone was like, hey, I'm buying 8 things, do you have a discount? I could click on that coupon code. It would go straight to their messaging immediately because I had already created it. I could give them 10% off. And if I felt like that was still profitable for me, then it was a win-win because they're like, oh my gosh, you're giving me 10% off. Of course I'm going to buy from her. And it would be a quick sale. So I think coupon codes are still good. And then the last 2 things I talked about as my tips were branding. Using Vistaprint, I don't know which way you say it, is a great way to include inserts in your, packages when you send them. To do a thank you card or business card so that you can get some of your branding information out there. And then the last one was packaging, just to make it cute. Not to invest a lot of money, but for me, for instance, I always use pink poly mailers. I just think that's fun and it represents, some of my branding in the world of pink. So anyway, check that video out if you want. I kind of go into those things in more detail, but it's kind of funny looking this many years later and seeing that most, I would say 8 out of 10 are still, great tips to go by if you are wanting to sell on Etsy. So I hope kind of going over these pros and cons is helpful. It has been for me. I mean, I am not gonna lie. I literally was sitting with my book and writing them down, trying to determine, should I open back up? Should I not? But I do think I am going to open back up this week, but I am going to really, really, really purge my listings and do the things that I just feel like will be good sellers, and that I am more excited about, embroidering, because I've got machines that are ready to run, that have been quiet for kind of far too long. So anyway, guys, if you guys have questions, like I said, if you want to, do one-on-ones, let me know. I am going to be doing a live video soon. If you're watching this, in 6 months, this will not be relevant. But if you're watching this in real time, I am going to do a live soon, which is kind of fun behind the scenes. I'm going to be doing a mystery box opening. So I'll include below where you can buy tickets for that, because basically, which I've never done this before, I bought a huge box from my supplier. I have no clue what's in it. I was able to narrow it down. I paid extra to only have one particular type of item, and I selected bags. So I am going to get 150 bags from my supplier. I have no clue what they are. No clue what's going to be in that box. From my supplier overseas, y'all, it could be amazing, or it could be a bust. So join me for $5. We're gonna I'm gonna lift one item at a time, and I'm gonna go in order of how the mystery tickets were sold. So, like I said, if you're watching this in real time, I'm going to be doing that this month, and I'll let you know as soon as the box arrives, and make sure that you have time to get your tickets and to kind of play the game with me and see what surprises you might get. I literally have a folder where I'm keeping the invoices for that people have purchased the tickets, and I'm going to go in order, and I will say your name and let you know this is yours, and I'll mail it out the next day. So I'm super excited. I love mysteries. So come along for that. And you guys, let me know if you have questions. Talk to y'all soon. Happy stitching.